Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cinema Savvy. It is myself, George, bringing you a very rare video on this occasion. We are going to be talking the 2025 Emmy nominations. They have just gone up in the last 45 minutes. I got to see the YouTube video that was live streaming on YouTube. It's obviously early in the morning in America or late morning, it depends what part of America you're in. And it's the early evening here in the UK. So I'm going to be giving my thoughts on a couple of the major categories. I have a PDF from the Emmy website that has listed all the nominations of, I guess I'm going to call it the key awards in a completely undisrespectful way, because they have not updated to find the complete list anywhere on their website yet, which is very frustrating. That's why I'm a little bit later onto the stream than I hoped. But I'm going to be doing my best to talk about all of this. Of course, the Emmys are the Oscars, but for TV. And we do a lot more TV on this channel. And in recent years, we've done more spoiler discussions. We've done more award season coverage. And I thought, you know what, this year, maybe because of Andor, maybe because of Star Wars, there's a lot of shows I've been watching I've really enjoyed in recent weeks. I thought I'm probably going to follow this a bit closer than I have in other years. So that is my prompt. And everybody watching at home, I do want to hear what you thought on the Emmy. So please do comment below with your favorite shows you've watched the last year, shows you recommend, things you haven't seen, things you're curious by. And if you like this video, we will be doing a breakdown after the Emmys took place in mid-September. We won't be doing a live stream for anything like that. God knows how many hours they go on for, but we'll be discussing it when the Emmys has been and gone. And that'll be a lovely little bookmark as we slowly move into I guess in September, we'll be moving into festival season for films. So it's going to be that cycle. Blockbuster season would have ended. So I have a list here, and I'm going to go through a lot of the awards. And obviously, with TV being so varied, there may be some awards that I just don't not have a clue about, but I'm just going to say I do not care for them. That's not in a disrespectful way. It'll be things like reality TV. I know it's got its fans elsewhere, but it's just not something that I care about in the absolute slightest. So that being said, let's start going through this as I'm using the details from the Emmy website. So best game show. I mean, come on. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Wheel of Fortune, The Price is Right, Jeopardy, Celebrity Family Feud. I have no opinion on them. I'm not going to really go into that. Same with reality. You've got The Traitors, you've got Top Chef, you've got Survivor, RuPaul's Drag Race, The Amazing Race. Obviously, The Traitors is humongous here in the UK as well as it is in America. And obviously, Survivor's been going forever. So obviously, when you are doing TV awards as such, you do need to be able to cover everything. And the Emmys goes quite far. We've got variety specials, which we've got Adam Sandler, Ali Wong, Bill Burr, Conan O'Brien, Sarah Silverman, and your friend Nate Bargatzetti. Again, I've not seen any of those. And the same for variety special lives. We've got the Oscars, which is always ironic because it's on the same network. SNL 50, the anniversary, SNL 50, the homecoming concert, Beyonce Bowl, and the halftime show starring Kendrick Lamar, of course, from the Super Bowl earlier this year. Scripted variety series, you've got Last Week Tonight with John Oliver and Saturday Night Live. 2 nominees in that category. Talk series, Daily Show, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Late Show, Stephen Colbert. So that's those sorts of ones out of the way. And as I said, I don't have much opinion on those. But now I'm going to move into the ones which are going to be quite heavy and part of the bigger award season discussion. And it's great we've got some British representation in this too. So Best Supporting Actor in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie. We've got Ashley Walters in Adolescence, Peter Sarsgaard in Presumed Innocent, Rob Delaney Dying for Sex, Owen Cooper in Adolescence, Bill Camp in Presumed Innocent, and Javier Bardem in The Lion and Eric Menendez Story. It's great to see Adolescence. I don't want to say like getting big in America. That sounds really strange to say, but it's such an inherently British series. The fact it did go big. Obviously, the subject matter of the series is more important than the fact the show went big and the people involved. But it's great to see it's had a reception in the States, and it may have some recognition come the end of the year. For supporting actress, we also have Erin Doherty from Adolescence, Ruth Negga in Presumed Innocent, Deirdre O'Connell in The Penguin, Chloe Sevigny in Monsters, The Lion Eric Story, Jenny Slate Dying for Sex, Christine Tremenko for Adolescence. Supporting actor in a comedy series, we've got Ike Barinholtz for The Studio. I love The Studio. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. We've got Coleman Domingo in The Four Seasons, Harrison Ford in Shrinking, who is incredible in the show, Jeff Hiller in Somebody Somewhere, Abel Moss Bacharach in The Bear, and Michael Urie in Shrinking, Bowen Yang, Saturday Night Live. I have to say, I thought it was outrageous that Harrison Ford wasn't nominated last year for the first season. I was genuinely shocked and saddened by that. And I'm glad to see that there is some recognition with that now. I've just watched season 2 of Shrinking this month, and it's still probably one of the most not eye-opening series. It's a very personal series, if I'm going to be totally transparent. And that's what I'm going to say that for now. Supporting actress in the comedy series, we've got Eliza Curlin-Zayas from The Bear, Hannah Einbinder from Hacks, Catherine Hahn from The Studio, Janelle James from Abbott Elementary, Catherine O'Hara nominated for The Studio, Cheryl Lee Ralph, Abbott Elementary, and Jessica Williams in Shrinking. Again, we're getting a lot of Apple, by the way, and it's safe to say where they sit as a studio, because we're looking at supporting actor in a drama series, and we've now got Zach Cherry from Severance, Walter Goggins from The White Lotus, Jason Isaacs from The White Lotus, James Marsden from Paradise, Sam Rockwell from The White Lotus, and Tremel Tillman from Severance, John Turturro from Severance. And I've got a controversial opinion that I'd like to see Tremel Tillman, I don't want to say win that, of the Severance group. That's who, certainly for season 2, I lean more towards. I thought he was amazing in the second season. He's a very good actor, of course. He had a standout role in Mission Impossible, and everyone's loved his scenes and what he did with that. We've also got supporting actress in a drama series. We've got Patricia Arquette in Severance, Carrie Coon in The White Lotus, Catherine Nazar in The Pit, Julianne Nicholson in Paradise, Parker Posey, Natasha Rothwell, and Amy Lee Wood, all of which for The White Lotus. That's 4 out of 7 nominees there for The White Lotus. And to be fair, in the supporting actor, they had 3 out of 7 as well. I'm going to get to some noticeable snubs a little bit later, because I'm going to talk about some of the bigger shows, things I feel were poorly represented, things I feel were very well represented. Lead actor in a limited or anthology series or movie, we've got Colin Farrell in The Penguin. We've got Stephen Graham in Adolescence, Jake Gyllenhaal in Presumed Innocent, Brian Tyree Henry in Dope Thief, and Cooper Cock in Monsters, The Lion Eric Menendez Story. It's great to see The Penguin still going, because it obviously aired toward the start of the window last year. A lot of these have obviously aired later on in the Emmy calendar year, I guess we could call it. We've got a lead actress in a limited or anthology series or movie. We've got Kate Blanchett in Disclaimer. We've got Megan Faye in Sirens, Rashida Jones in Black Mirror, Christine Milioti in The Penguin, and Michelle Williams in Dying for Sex. Now, that's is going to be interesting once Kristen Milioti wins. Again, she obviously took home the Golden Globe. She has been a heavy favourite amongst this award season, but I'm not going to stand up at the moment. Let's talk lead actor in a comedy series. We've got Adam Brody in Nobody Wants This, Seth Rogen in The Studio, Jason Segel in Shrinking, Martin Short in Only Murders in the Building, Jeremy Allen White in The Bear. Okay. I know this is a problem every year, and people talk about this now. Jeremy Allen White / The Bear being part of a comedy. I understand the decision for it to be submitted as a comedy series, but if you look at a show like, Shrinking is very heavy on the drama side of things, but there is a lot of humor in The Shrinking, not like sporadic humor, like it is an outright comedy that has drama that will take you on an emotional roller coaster. The Studio is an outright comedy satire that absolutely should be sweeping this award season. We've got Only Murders in the Building, which is multiple seasons in now, which has been one of the best comedies of the last few years. And I love The Bear. And I understood, obviously, when that first season came out and everyone was outraged it was winning everything, because there are very funny moments from it. Whilst its tone is somewhat comedic, I personally see it as drama. And I've lent more towards that, especially with the other seasons that have followed. It certainly feels more of a drama the further it's gone on. Not to say there isn't political stuff amongst the Emmys, limited series, yet Beef is going to get a season 2, and that was meant to be a limited series apparently, so you do get that a lot as well now. But let's go. Lead actress in the comedy series, we've got Uzo Aduba in The Residents, Kristen Bell in Nobody Wants This, Quinta Brewston in Abbott Elementary, Aya Midabiri in The Bear, and Jean Smart in Hacks. Lead actor in a drama, Sterling K. Brown in Paradise. Gary Oldman, Slow Horses. Pedro Pascal, The Last of Us. Adam Scott in Severance. Noah Weil in The Pit. The lead actress in the drama series, Kathy Bates, Matlock. Sharon Hogan, Bad Sisters. Britt Lower, Severance. Bella Ramsey, Last of Us. Kerry Russell, The Diplomat. So that's all of the acting performance ones. I'm not spoke outright about the series yet, and I'm just debating how I want to structure this. This is very on the nose. This is a bit different to how we've normally done it. I'm going to go through the series and nominations, and then I'm going to have a chat about I think issues and people, or maybe shows that I don't think are fair to be nominated. For example, like television movie, we've got Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. We've got The Gorge, Mountain Head, Nonnas, and Rebel Ridge. Apparently, Netflix can count as a TV movie. Okay. Is it not always a TV movie then? How can they have Oscar qualifications? They've got Emmy qualifications. Very strange. Bridget Jones, massive theatrical film here in the UK, but it gets put on Peacock in America. Strange that some of that's allowed to be submitted for these awards, but that's how it works. Limited or anthology series, we've got Adolescence, Black Mirror, Dying for Sex, Monsters, and The Penguin. Obviously, The Penguin's been one of the bigger shows of this year, and we'll get to that. Comedy series, we've got Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Hacks, Nobody Wants This, Only Murders in the Building, Shrinking, The Studio, and What We Do in the Shadows. That's an incredibly stacked comedy stuff. And we've got drama. We've got Andor, The Diplomat, The Last of Us, Paradise, The Pit, Severance, Slow Horses, The White Lotus. So I've just obviously waffled for about 10, 15 minutes, just listing things nominated, people nominated. And I want to start breaking it down. And I think it's really interesting with TV shows compared to Oscars that because there are obviously subgenres within how the Emmys functions, comedy, drama, miniseries, anthology, even the reality ones we spoke about, because you can get writing nominations for stuff such as that. It is very interesting that if you look at the most nominated shows of the year, because obviously I've only got the core list. I don't have the entirety of the Emmy nominees. Again, you go onto the Emmy website, it just comes up with a Dropbox, and it just doesn't have the complete list of everything. It just comes up with what we spoke about, or now has an updated one that has everything. Because I do want to sit here and I do want to look at shows such as Andor, which I'm going to go through and which I'm going to preview, because obviously I can't go through the 68 pages of nominees, because that's also outrageous in a non-disrespectful way. And that's why the Emmys are so inherently different to the Oscars. It has to be split up across multiple award ceremonies, across different, some awards given out on different dates to some of the other ones. TV is such a huge medium that it does need to be done somewhat differently. But if I'm looking at this as an overview and things I really want to talk about a little bit more, I want to talk about drama, because I've been playing catch up recently. Obviously, I'm going to fly the flag for Andor. It has been, I personally think, one of the great series of our time. The fact that the second season has been able to get 14 Emmy nominations, including Best Drama Series, is massive. It's fantastic that it's had so many nominations, and I'll go through those briefly, some of the other stuff it's nominated for. But I cannot believe that Andor has not been nominated once for a dramatic role. And this is where I start to get into some of my criticism of structures. And I don't mean this to bring down performances of other actors, because award season, it should be to celebrate the shows and the films that people have enjoyed, that people have worked on, and to get in peer or industry recognition for that work. So I'm always very careful to tear down nominations. At time, it's very fair to do so. I'm looking at the Best Supporting Actress Oscar win for, oh my dear, I've forgotten her name, Jamie Lee Curtis, one of the worst wins of our modern time. Wasn't even the best supporting performance in that film, or even a good supporting performance overall. But that was the Oscar campaign, and that's what had to win. Whereas other times it is a celebration, and sometimes you get categories that are so stacked that great people do have to miss out. But just in a really cool thing with Andor here, and I'm not having a dig because I'm going to get sort of cancelled for saying this. Pedro Pascal nominated for lead actor in a drama series. I'm a bit gobsmacked at that. And I love Pedro. And he was incredible in season 1 and deserves to be nominated in season 1. But he's in 3 episodes and a final shot of a 4th one in this entire season. And his performance is great in 2 of those episodes. But how are you qualifying as the lead actor if you appear in less than half the series? If he'd have died in the first episode, spoiler alert, would he have been nominated? Because it feels strange. And you look at the other people involved. You've got Gary Oldman, who rocked up in, obviously, every episode, So Horses. You've got Adam Scott in Severance, who's amazing. Now, I've not seen The Pit, and I've had incredible things. I know that Noah Wild's been nominated for this, and Sterling K. Brown in Paradise. But I look at Diego Luna, and I do think, how did he not get nominated? Did he not give an award-worthy performance over some of the other actors? And I'm going to keep picking on Pedro because, again, he's in 3 episodes in an entire TV series. that's a guest actor. That's not a lead actor. I'm sorry. And I think this is where I get frustrated with TV and other people get frustrated with TV. And, I spoke about what I thought on The Bear with its comedy, when I think it's put as comedy, but it should be drama. Now, I've heard The White Lotus is very funny, but they still submit it as a drama every time because that's what it inherently still is. And the drama series award itself, I mean, I've been raving about Andor. The fact we've got Andor, The Diplomat, The Last of Us, Paradise, The Pit, Severance, So Horses, and The White Lotus. Severance obviously taking many years to get back ready for its second season, which has been incredible, which I finished watching last week. A really interesting show. Slow Horse is one of the most solid shows of our time. The fact that we've got season 5 airing in a few weeks. And the fact they've already filmed season 6 and they're prepping for season 7 later this year, that goes to show like what Apple can do as a studio. And even when I'm now looking at the comedy stuff as well, I want to talk about the studio briefly because I only saw this in the last sort of month as well. The studio, I think, is one of the funniest shows of the last few years. And maybe I'm saying this because I'm more invested in film, that I know more about film. It's a satire on the film industry. But it was also a very rewarding show, and it did come together and it did function as a series. But I just felt like there was nothing like the studio I've seen before. It actually felt like Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Curb Your Enthusiasm is one of the greatest comedies of all time. And if people have watched the show from start to end, they'll understand this. There's a beautiful theme within Curb Your Enthusiasm, and the logic is that Larry David is never wrong. That's the purpose of it. Seth Rogen in the studio, he is by default never wrong. Whilst some decisions aren't great, he's putting the industry and the art first, but then that leads to problems as him being the head of a studio. And the comedy that follows through it is just amazing. I really recommend the studio for anybody who hasn't seen it. Again, I've not really seen a show like it before. And I'm glad that it's obviously picked up so many nominations elsewhere too. And even going to the limited series as well, like Penguin was huge last year, 24 nominations total. The fact that Penguin's got 24 nominations is the second most show after Severance to get nominations. Studios got 23, White Lotus 23, Last of Us 16, and Andor and Hacks on 14 together. That's quite something, if I'm going to totally say that. Like, that's huge. And one that may be very surprising that people might have thought would be a little bit different is House of the Dragon only picking up 6 nominations when before, there'd be dozens at a time for Game of Thrones. Is it the most nominated show in history? I don't think so. I think that's probably SNL off the top of my head, but it's one of those where some shows came and went and others didn't. I know that there'll probably be some people gutted that there wasn't a nomination for Anthony Starr. I know that's something people have spoke about before. And I understand that, but maybe when The Boys gets its final season, it will get its, it will get its dues. It's got a couple of nominations too. It's been nominated for Best Original Music. I think it got a guest actor nomination from what I'm scanning quickly as well, and stunt coordination, stunt performance. But it is very strange that again Giancarlo Esposito can get a guest actor nomination, but is it because it's Giancarlo Esposito? Because if I look at the guest nominees, because I haven't actually done that and I should have. I'm just going to pull them up now. Sorry, I've got the proper spreadsheet. And this sounds really like I don't have a plan. I've never done the Emmys, so this is very different to what I'm used to. Outstanding guest actor in a comedy series. We've got John Berthnall in The Bear, Bryan Cranston in the studio. We've got Dave Franco in the studio, Ron Howard in the studio, Anthony Mackie in the studio, Martin Scorsese in the studio. That's quite something. Guest actor in a drama series, Giancarlo Esposito in The Boys, Scott Glenn in The White Lotus, Sean Hatzy in The Pit, Joe Pantoliano in The Last of Us, Forrest Whitaker, beautiful, for Andor, and Jeffrey Wright in The Last of Us. And that does feel very much by name. We've got, even in The Bear, we've got Olivia Colman, Jamie Lee Curtis, Pokerface, Cynthia Erivo, Hacks, you got Robbie Hoffman, The Studio, you got Zoe Kravitz again, Julianne Nicholson in Hacks. And if you look at guest actor in drama series, you've got Jane Alexander in Severance, Gwendolyn Christie in Severance, Caitlin Dever nominated for Abby, which we expected in The Last of Us, Cherry Jones in The Handmaid's Tale, Catherine O'Hara in The Last of Us, Merritt Wever in Severance. So you do get some huge names in the guest nominees. It can just be so strange at times when it doesn't go maybe the way you think. And it is a status thing a lot of the time as well. But I'm really quickly just going to fly through the Andor nominations, because this is incredible for Star Wars that Andor has been nominated for so much. We have Outstanding Production Design for a narrative period or fantasy program. We've got Outstanding Cinematography, Outstanding Fantasy/Sci-Fi Costumes, Outstanding Directing for a Drama Series, Outstanding Picture Editing for a Drama Series, Outstanding Music Composition for a Series. Has it got multiple nominations in that one? No, it's got a second music one, Outstanding Original Music and Lyrics. It's also been nominated for Outstanding Guest Actor, which I spoke about with Forrest Whitaker. Outstanding Character Voiceover Performance is Alan Tudyk's K2SO. Outstanding Drama Series overall, which we spoke about. Outstanding Sound Editing for a drama or comedy. Outstanding Sound Mixing for a drama or comedy. And Outstanding Special Visual Effects in a season or movie, which isn't surprising. It has all of these nominations because this has been one of the best shows. And also Outstanding Writing, because that would have been a disgrace if I hadn't said that. So it's really interesting that Andor's picked up so much recognition, and I think it's rightfully deserved. The question to myself turns to is, can it convert any of them to wins? And the answer is I don't know. Severance looks like it's going to be the force for anyone to contend with, no pun intended. It's hard to look past its 27 nominations, its first second season. The ending of that second season is really hard to see anything disrupt that. The Pit has picked up a lot of momentum, and it's not the typical heavyweight heading into a season such as this. It's of course the case been done on HBO Max, but it is still a series that you look at some of the other shows I spoke about that have had much bigger funding, bigger people behind it. So I'm really curious as to where this season's going to go. I'm not entirely sure who to expect, who to win. Obviously, the Golden Globes, don't cover the whole year; it covers a few of the year. But then you look at a legacy show is going to have more nominations or more votes because it's legacy shows. People are looking at overall. The Bear season 5 just come out. Season 4? Is there going to be people voting for season 3 based off of season 4 or season 2? It's hard to know sometimes. So that's going to be me rounding out. I don't want to go too long on this. I don't want to talk for the sake of talking, but that's been my breakdown / Andor preview of the Emmys 2025. I do want to hear what you're looking forward to, things you're gutted by, but I will obviously do a breakdown of when the Emmys are done. We have everything concrete and we can talk about all of those. So that is me rounding out. A little bit shorter, a little bit different today. We'll be doing our wrestling video tomorrow and we're talking a lot more other things. So thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.